Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Amagyanatimirandasya Gyananjanarsalakaya. Chakshurumlitam Jena. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्तो राधा कान्ता नमस्ते तप्त कंचना गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुश्रुति प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात देशतारिणे पंचकल्पातरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे हरे। श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर भगवान की जय। Hare Krishna. So, Soumya, Ashok Prabhu, Ram Kishore, Rami Prabhu, Narayan Prabhu, Gopal, Deepika Mataji, Gopal Prabhu, Aparna. Okay, so we have Yamani Prabhu in India. And Hare Krishna. So, Dandat Pranams to everybody. We are in chapter 18,
Hare Krishna.
and this is the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita. But we were saying something. Or just Hare Krishna. Okay.
Hare
So,
Krishna.
this chapter is basically very much the summary of entire Bhagavad Gita. So normally when we give the class or we give discourse on any topic, at the end we try to summarize what we have spoken and then ask if there is any asking that question, if there is anything else that we need to discuss. So that's how we can consider this chapter. It's very much in that format where Krishna has almost, not almost, but he has spoken everything now what he was supposed to share with Arjun, but now he's kind of summarizing everything and seeing if Arjun has any doubt and then trying to answer that. So this chapter has so many, three types of work, three types of worker, three types of intelligence, so many three will come, three types of tyaga. So as we go along, uh, we'll try to understand what are those. So as for this chapter is concerned, this is the longest chapter with 78 verses. And first 12 verse talks about how one can be free from the bondage of karma. So still being engaged in the activity with the sound, but how one can stay free from the bondage. And then 5 factors of action is mentioned from verse number 13 to 17. And then 18 to 14, modes control all activities and all beings. So everything is controlled, the activities and all the living beings, they are controlled by different modes. And we have studied that already. Purification through prescribed duties of Varnashram Dharma. So one can purify one's existence by engaging in the prescribed duties, which is basically Varna and Ashrama. And then transcending, coming to the Brahman realization. And then from there, pure bhakti, acting in Krishna consciousness is the essence. And then finally, few conclusive verse. So that's how this chapter will end. Since it has 78 verses, we might take three or four classes. We'll see how does it go, and we'll try to finish this class. This is last chapter, so we'll try to be a little bit more interactive as we are going through, and we'll basically discuss as things comes along. Okay, so as I said, this is the final chapter, and this is overview of Bhagavad Gita. An ultimate conclusion of Bhagavad Gita is that one should engage in devotional service. So we'll start very first verse, and here again you will see that now Arjun has some doubt. So we'll read the verse and then we'll try to go through verse wise verse. Arjun uvacha sannyasasya mahabaho tattvamikshami veditum त्यागस्य च ऋषिकेश पृथिक्केसि निषूदन. So Arjun starts basically asking question. O Kesi Nisudana means the one. Nisudana means the one who has killed. So O killer of the uh, demon Keshi. O Rishikesha, O master of the senses. O Mahabaho, mighty armed one. I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation, tyaga, of the renounced order of life. So, Tyagasya cha Rishikesha, sannyasasya mahabaho, tattvam ichhami veditum. So, he's saying that I have a desire now, veditum, to know about sannyasasya and tyaga. So, in fact, the definition of these two terms, sannyas and tyaga, will flow until verse number 11 and 12. And we'll try to really understand the concept of sannyas and tyaga. So in the very first question, Arjun is saying that I would like to know about sannyas, which is in English, renounced order of life, and then tyag, which means completely renouncing everything. So we'll see what is the technical definition of these two words, sannyasa and tyaga. So in verse number 2, Lord starts speaking. Sri Bhagwan Uvacha Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasham Sanyasam Kavayo Viduhu Sarva Karma Phala Tyagam Prahus Tyagam Vichakshanaha. So sannyas, we'll see the definition of sannyas and tyaga. Sannyas, renounced order of life, is giving up of kamya karma or activities based on the material desire. Kamyanam karmanam nyasham sannyasam kavayo vidu. It is said by learned person that sannyasa is basically karmanam, kamyanam karmanam, the karma which is desire driven. By leaving that type of karma, which is called kam karma, is called sannyasa. Sarv phalam tyagam prahus tyagam vichikshana. And tyag, the renunciation, is giving up the result of all activities. It doesn't say the all activities, results of all activities. So sannyasa is basically giving the kam karma, and tyaga is basically giving the fruits of both nitya karma and uh, kamya karma. So nitya karma, there are two terms here that we have to understand: nitya karma and kama karmas. So nitya karmas, Prabhupada says here, is daily prescribed duties. Uh, by doing that, one can elevate in Krishna consciousness, such as getting up in the morning, following the four regulatory principles, and following the rules and regulations of the Varnashram Dharma. By doing those activities, one can elevate in their understanding towards Krishna. So that is called a Nitya Karma. And Kama Karmas are karma which are for personal desires. And personal desire could be anything. Somebody may have desired to be elevated to the heavenly planet by taking the shelter of demigods. Some may have desired to stay in the material world and enjoy the opulence of the material world. Somebody may have desired to, come as women. Somebody may have desired to come as men. Somebody may have desired to become president of, certain country. So there are, multiple desire. So, so basically, these two karma we have to remember: nitya karma and kama karma. So sannyasa, renounced order of life, is basically rejecting the kama karma. Any material activity which is driven by personal desire is kama karma. And sannyas means sannyasi has to leave any uh, kama karma, but he has to perform the nitya karma. And tyagi, tyagi is one who leaves the results of both nitya karma and kama karma. So these concepts will continue coming, and in verse number 6 and then further in verse number 10, Krishna will very clearly give us the clear understanding of what is basically kama karma and what is nitya karma, and then what is the real renouncement, who is the real renounced person. So so this kama karma and nitya karmas are basically two types of karmas that we have to know. So can anybody give some example of the kama karma? Like some of the karmas which will fall under kama karma. What are some of the kama karmas?
Yeah, doing puja to get some kind of promotion or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. To get the promotion to heavenly planet, you said, or to get promotion in job.
Or anything. So anything that you are desiring and asking,
Yeah, if
anything.
the desire is basically to get promoted and enjoy our personal, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
desire, then it will become karma. But if one may desire that I get promoted, I make money and more money, and then I use that money in service of Krishna, then that will be not necessarily karma. Yes. Anybody else would like to share anything? Please talk. I want you to make it a little bit more interactive. This is what are the nitya karma? Any example of the nitya karma?
Section rounds of japa every
Performing
day.
performing
Performing
service,
japa, yes. Chanting,
um, chanting.
Yeah, chanting.
chanting, yes, Prabhu, chanting, yes. Tapa,
Eating prashadam.
doing austerity,
Sadhas.
yeah. Prasada meeting.
So Prabhu,
Like
like
Sandhya Vandanam.
Prabhu, when we say Nitya Karma, will it come like material activities, Prabhu, or spiritual activities?
This is prescribed duty.
Oh,
So prescribed duties are mostly duties which are falling under the varnashram. So as a grihastha, we have some prescribed duty. Then also basically brahmachari and banprastha and sannyas, they have their prescribed duty. So prescribed duties, which are basically duties given by Veda or given by Dharma Shastra. And the goal of those prescribed duties is to elevate one's consciousness. So by engaging in the prescribed duty, one will slowly and slowly elevate and come to the mode of goodness, and they'll be ready to take the process of bhakti. So, so the action. I mean, we can name out multiple action here, but the intent is that, and Krishna will talk. That's why I'm raising this question, because once that verse will come, verse number 6 and 10, there it will start making more sense. That how we can basically make the distinction between what karma is exactly kam karma, and which type of karma is a nitya karma. But nitya karma is basically the karma that will not give us uh, bondage of the action that we have done. So if we are doing it for our own sensual pleasure, then that will be kam karma. If we do to please or engage that fruits of that karma in Krishna's or in our spiritual advancement, then that will be nitya karma. So anything else anybody has here? Okay, so this is basically we learn about uh, sannyasa and tyag. Now Krishna will talk what are other school of thoughts and what they think about this these two types of karma, especially in
Prabhu,
context
can
of.
I interrupt Prabhu for the
Yeah, yes, you.
previous
Yeah,
one?
yes,
I
yes.
have a question like, so a Shraddha karma is done according to our Vedic scriptures only. So does that come under Nitya karma?
Are you talking about the Sraddha karma?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so Sraddha karma is basically uh, prescribed in Varnashram system. And Shraddha karma is the goal of Shraddha karma is basically to help advance that liberated soul on their spiritual journey, right?
Yes.
It's being done to help the departed soul to continue on their spiritual journey. That's number one. Number two, that Putra has also a responsibility for their parents, mom or dad. So this will come under prescribed duty. And if the intent is basically to help the departed soul to advance on the journey of Krishna consciousness, then it will be considered nitya karma.
Thank you, Prabhu.
There is nothing there that one is doing for personal sense gratification. But again, Krishna will say that there are three types of tyaga, and depending on in which mood that action is being performed, it will determine that it was done in the ignorance, or it was done in the passion, or it was done in goodness. So, two opinions about tyaga. So, in tyaga, whenever we are talking about tyaga, you have to remember that a tyagi can be engaged in nitya karma, can be engaged in kama karma, but he is basically renouncing. He's not renouncing the action, but he's renouncing the fruits, the result of that action. So, what are the opinions of different school about this philosophy of tyaga? So, Krishna is saying here, Tyajayam dosavadiryakke karma prahurmanishinaha yajnana tapah karma na tyajamiti chapare. So, two opinions about tyag. Tyajam dos vadi ityake karma prahur manishana. The first one is give up all fruitive activities thinking that it has dosha. dosham vadikke, thinking that all the activity that we do comes with some fault, because there is some degree of violence or some degree of uh, fruitive activity associated with the activity that we do. So if you want to be free from the bondage of reaction, just give up all the activities. That's one school of thought. And this is coming from Kapila Sankhya's philosophy. But the second one, it says that never give up the acts of sacrifice. Yaga gyan tapah karma na tyajam iti chapare. Never give up. Never give up the acts of sacrifice, charity, and austerity, because one incurs no sin from performing what is prescribed in the Veda, even if it involves. So this philosophy is coming from Jaimini school. So give up all the footive activity. Don't even tyagi. Somebody may say, oh, tyag means completely renounce. Don't even engage in any type of activity. Just don't act. And we have learned about it that there are people. This comes also in third chapter, third and fifth chapter. There are people who are completely renouncing the work. I don't want to work. So there are people who thinks that tyagi means just don't act. But then there is secondary school of thoughts that say that no, 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 no. You cannot basically stop acting. People cannot live without action. So leave only the action which are bad, which are basically going to create bondage. Rather stay engage in prescribed duty such as yagya, dhyana, and tapa. So now the next verse, Krishna will say, what is his opinion? Okay. So verse number 4 basically just says that Krishna is saying that, in my opinion, there are three kinds of tyaga. Okay. So the more definition of tyaga comes here. Nisayam sunu me yatra tyage bharat satam त्यागो ही पुरुष व्याघ्र त्रिविध संप्रकृतित्य संप्रकृति. So, O best of Brahmins, now hereby judgment about renunciation. O tiger among men, Krishna is saying Arjun, O tiger among men, renunciation is declared in the scriptures to be of three kinds. Okay, so here we heard that there are three kinds of uh, sacrifice. But then in verse number 5, Krishna is saying that never give up the acts of sacrifice. So one of the school of philosophy here we saw that says that never give up. Same thing is coming in verse number 5. Yag jnana tapa karma na tyajam karyamev tat yago dhyanam tapasva paunani manishinam. So acts of sacrifice, charity, and austerity are not to be given up. They must be performed. It should be not. Are not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and austerity purify even the great soul. Okay. So this yagya, dan, tapa, this is not only to help one in the very beginning stage, but even one will get in the advanced stage of their elevation to Krishna consciousness. These items will even help further advance. And when we chant, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we say that we are doing Nam Yagya, right? When we uh, get up in the morning and do the austerity of the body, then that is our tapa, getting up in the morning, keeping our mind focused, chanting the name of Krishna, listening each and every syllable. That is our tapasya. And dan, this is ample opportunity this time, as our temple is trying to get, a bigger place. So this is the opportunity for everybody to donate. So that's what is being said here, that these items, the acts of sacrifice, charity, and austerity should never be given up, because not only it helps in the initial stage of one's advancement, but these items indeed helps even one is in the very advanced stage of their understanding. So this is what we hear in verse number 5. And then verse number 6 will tell, okay, so what should be the mood when one is performing the tyaga? And this one is very important, very powerful verse and important points that will come from here that we have to remember. So verse number 6. Yata na api tu karmani sanga taktva flani cha कर्तव्यानिति में पार्थ निश्चितम मतमुतमम. So sangam tyaktva falani cha. Sangam tyaktva means the action that we do, not being too much attached. Sangam tyaktva, not being too much attached. Falani cha, and also not too much attached with the result, not expecting the certain result. And then kartabhyaniti, doing it as our duty. So when we are basically engaged in action, especially when we are talking about tyag, these three elements have to be there. First, that one should not have the doership mentality. And this doership mentality will further come in verse number 13. But, you know, but at this point here, we have to understand that the action that is being done, one should not do with attachment, thinking that I am the doer. If I am not doing it, then how it will be done? So, kartahamiti mannate, Krishna said that, hankar vimuratma kartahamiti mannate. Any action is done by five factors, and we'll talk about that. So one should not think that he or she is the doer, and one should not also expect certain results, and then one should do as a matter of duty. Okay, so far is it clear? We are trying to understand tyaga in detail. So what should be the mood when one is engaged in tyaga? So in tyag means not basically leaving the acts of sacrifice, charity, and austerity. Okay, we are not basically leaving those items. So that's what we have been following. That we are only leaving the kama karma, not leaving the karma which are called nitya karma. Even we are engaged in the kama karma, but we are not expecting any specific result. We are not attached to the specific action, and then we are doing as a duty. So verse number 6 basically very much gives extra layer of understanding of what should be the mood when one is performing a specific action. And then Krishna said that there are three types of tyag. So we'll see one after another what are those tyaga. So verse number 7 talks about tyag in the mode of uh, ignorance, giving up the prescribed obligatory duty, nitya karma or niyatam karma, due to illusion or lack of scriptural knowledge. Okay, so just not being engaged in nitya karma which will elevate one consciousness, because one do not have knowledge about it, one does not get the opportunity to associate or hear about Krishna Katha, about the Nitya Karma, or about even the Nivritti Marga, Pravritti or Nivritti Marga. One has never exposed to the Marga of Nivritti for many reasons, and he is not doing any Nitya Karma. Then that type of person also may be engaged in some sort of tyag, but that tyag will be in the mode of ignorance. And we see in the society there are many tyagi people. Krishna has very clearly said in the previous chapter that they do things which is not prescribed, which is not given by the scripture, but they do engage in certain activity, and those type of activities are basically two things. Never gives them pleasure. It will never basically satisfy the doer, and also it's going to be temporary. So there are people who are doing some activities, but they do not know, they do not have any understanding of nitya karma, they do not have any shastric understanding. And then verse number 8 talks about tyaga in passion, giving up the prescribed duty as troublesome or out of fear of the bodily discomfort. Okay, so can we give some example of some of the duties we which we don't do thinking of the results or thinking of the bodily discomfort? What are some of the
Like,
tyag? Huh?
yeah, it's like, my body hurts and I cannot, make prasadam or chant
Yes,
my rounds, so
yes. Or I cannot get up in the morning.
yes.
Yes, very good. Or finding so many reasons, for not engaging. Oh, I cannot work with this person. Oh, I love service, but I cannot serve with, XYZ. Oh, I love, service, but I cannot do, in XYZ condition. Right. So, oh my gosh. So, yes. So, is something different that somebody understand from that? Or what we are talking is sounds correct? Tyaga and passion, what we just talked, does it make sense or is some other understanding somebody has something different than what we just spoke?
It's clear, Prabhu. It's clear, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Prabhu, one more thing, Prabhu. Prabhu, your audio is going up and down. Is it for me only or is it for everyone else? I'm not sure. A little bit ups and downs.
Okay,
Your
Prabhuji, how is
audio.
it coming? Everybody is okay?
I'm okay.
Okay. Yeah. So how is everybody hearing? Is it like breaking?
No,
You're
For me,
okay
it's
for
okay.
me. Yep.
Okay,
For
I'm
me,
using
it's
this
okay.
one to basically, have a better quality of the sound. So if it's not working, I'll take it off. Okay, okay. So Prabhu, there might be something at your end, but thank you for letting me know.
Okay.
So we don't
Thank you.
want to be tyagi in the mode of passion. Okay. And then we'll talk about tyaga in the uh, mode of goodness. Karyam iteva yat karma niyatam kriyate arjun sangha taktva phalam chaiva sa tyaga satiko matah. Karyamitevo yat karma niyatam kriyate arjuna nityam niyatam kriyate arjuna sangha taktva phalam chaiva sa tyaga satiko matah. To perform prescribed duty only because it is ought to be done without material association and desire for results. So how verse number 9 tags with verse number 6? Is it same thing being spoken or different thing? Can somebody say? It's ought to be done without material association. Okay. Sangam taktva means no attachment. Desire for result. Okay. Phalam taktva. Okay. And then it's done as a duty. Okay. So verse number 9 and verse number 6, does it matches or not?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, it's match.
I think it's because that's verse number 6 is Krishna's opinion, not Krishna's
Yes,
opinion. This is also Lord Krishna's opinion.
yes.
Out of
So
goodness.
yes, right. We got it. Yes. So verse number 6, maybe the wordings are a little different, but Sangam taktva phalam cha, kartvayanti, kartvayaniti. Verse number 6, what is the actual word in Sanskrit? Kartavyaniti. So if you go to verse number 9, in fact, Tyag, what Krishna spoke in verse number 6 is basically rephrased here. And then, so we should basically do Tyaga in mode of goodness, thinking that it is our duty. It is our duty that Jivara Sarupaya Nitya Krishna Das. It is our duty that we perform devotional service, and we don't get too attached with the specific action, and then we do not get too attached with the result. That's very nice. So far clear. So basically we'll move to verse number 10, and then Krishna will now here say, so who is the wise renunciant? How a wise renunciant tyagi acts. And this is very beautiful verse here. न द्वेष्ट कुशलम कर्म कुशले नानु संजते त्यागी सत्व समाविष्टो मेधावी छिन्न संशयः. So न द्वेष्टे कुशलम कर्म कुशले नानु संजते त्यागी सत्वा समाविष्टो मेधावी छिन्न संशय. The intelligent renouncer, medhavi, medhavi छिन्न संशय, the intelligent renouncer fixed in goodness is neither hateful of inauspicious work nor attached to auspicious work. He has no doubt about work. So basically, verse number 9 that talks about tyaga in mode of goodness, if that is manifested in a person, then the next step is that that person will be in a stage of indifference. Okay, having basically no impact of either being engaged in auspicious work, neither hate. He doesn't hate if something is uncomfortable for the body. Okay, inauspicious work doesn't mean that he will not hesitate, doing slaughtering of the animal. That doesn't mean here. Means even even if there is something that doesn't seem, very kind of relaxing and comfortable for him, he would still like doing, such as getting up in the morning and doing, devotional service consistently. Either it's auspicious, either it's uncomfortable, or it's basically giving him pleasure, because he has no doubts about work. He's pretty confirmed that by engaging in nitya karma, I can elevate in my consciousness. So then question comes, is it better to completely give up the actions rather than simply giving up the results? Okay. So far we have been talking about basically giving up the results of the action, not giving the actual action. We still want to stay in the action, but we don't want to basically give up the result of the action. So question comes that how about just leaving the whole action? Can we just not act like Gyani, artificial renounce, and this comes in third chapter also. Krishna is saying that no, you don't want to be artificial, sannyasi. Rather, you want to be basically yukta vairaga, you want to be a vairagi with some possession, but you are not attached to what you possessed. So this is the question. But before we get into this question, I want to basically, this is a very beautiful concept here coming about uh, how one can come to the platform of indifferences. And this concept of indifference is very, very important for us to understand. As a conditioned living being, our emotion is very much, attached with the conditioning that exists around us. In happy, we feel happy. In sadness, we feel sad. Chatusna sukha dukkha agam paino nityas, whatever prasthiti is coming around us, that's the basically conditioning. When we say that the living beings are conditioned, so this conditioning is basically we are conditioned to the environment, situation that is uh, existing around us. But Shastra says, "Dhiyasmin atha deho kamarionam jara tatha dehantar praptam dhira tatna muhyati." Come to the stage of dhira where You are not bewildered by the changes that's happening. In this particular example, changes of the body. So Dhira is not perplexed by seeing the changes of the uh, uh, body. Brahmbhut prasanatma na sochti na kangati. How one can come to a stage where one is Brahmbhut, completely happy by self-realization, by realizing oneself that I am basically not this body. The body is just the covering of the soul. The real identity that I am, I'm a soul. So coming to that stage and not getting entrapped into the covering and the conditioning that exists around. There is a beautiful discussions that comes in Srimad Bhagavatam when Vidura is meeting with Maitreya Muni, and Maitreya Muni, he feels when he saw Vidura, and Vidura, when he started talking to Maitreya Muni, Vidur is feeling fortune immense fortune. And this is a very beautiful theme that runs into the Bhagavatam. What is the fortune for the soul and what is not fortune for the soul? But at this point where Vidura, when we meet to elevated person who are elevated in Krishna consciousness, it's nothing but just our fortune. So Vidur is very, very feeling fortunate, and then he's asking questions, and then series of questions he asks, and he says that my dear, Maitreya Rishi, I do not have interest to hear anything about material subject, material philosophy, material speculations, material scientific things. I have no interest about it. I would like to hear Harikatha. I would like to hear the glories of Lord Sri Krishna. And as advanced soul has always concern about the conditioned being, so he starts asking questions that sukhaya karmani karoti loke. In this material world, everybody is engaged in doing some sort of uh, activity. Sukhaya karmani karoti loko eva anyad piparad va bindanti bhuyastata tam eva dukham yadatra yuktam bhagwan vadena. So all of these living beings, they are engaged whole day, whole night. They are engaged in acting and doing the things of the material world. But in spite of getting the happiness, they end up getting the suffering. Okay, bhuyaste, they end up basically getting the suffering. So yadatra yuktam bhagwan badena. So what this human being should do for the happiness, bhagwan badena. Here Maitreya Muni is referred as a bhagwan. Uddhav is saying bhagwan badena. Maitreya Muni now say, please instruct me how these living beings who are day and night working for their happiness end up having the misery in their life. So what they should do. So in that, you know, in that series, in that sequence, Maitreya Muni gives many answers, and he starts saying that Janasya Krishna Bimukhasya. He starts saying from there that these whole human beings, they are Bimukhya from Krishna. Janasya Bimukhasya Krishna, they are Bimukh from Krishna, and then they are looking for the happiness, and that's the cause of their suffering. And then he's saying how they can come out of the suffering. Okay, this is very beautiful concept that comes in the Bhagavatam at many places in different contexts. Maybe the wording will change, but this concept that comes, how one can come to the stage of indifference. And this beautiful verse comes, Sasradhanasya vivardhamana विरक्तम अन्यत् करोति पुंसः हरे पदानु अस्मृति निवृतस्य समस्त दुखायाम शु धत्ते. So Sasradhanasya vivardhamana, the person who is with complete faith, with complete dedication, is engaged in hearing the pastime of Lord. One who is engaged in hearing the Krishna Katha, viraktam anyat karoti pumsam. This virakti, this indifference, this detachment from these things of the uh, material worlds basically arise in. Okay, and and by that person Vivardhamana, slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly elevate in uh, their Krishna consciousness. And with that, samast dukha, all the miseries of the material world is vanquished. So it's very important to understand the concept of indifference. Okay, we all are human beings. We have so many things up and down going on in life, but slowly and slowly we should try to elevate in our consciousness and come to a stage where we are able to understand. Introspection is very important to see how I am reflecting to a certain activity. If I ended up doing something wrong, not being too emotional, not being too naive, how basically come in a stage. And this chapter will help us understand some of those concepts. So coming to the stage of indifference is very, very important. And that's what basically we read in the previous verse. So I just wanted to little bit give the deeper understanding that this indifference doesn't come by artificially trying to not talk, or artificially trying to maintain grave, or artificially trying to say that I'm indifferent, I do not have impact of sitosna sukha dukkha, all of these things happening that around me, I'm not impacted by it. The 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 reason, or the real answer for one to be indifferent, becoming dhira, becoming to the stage of brahmbhuta sanatma, is that one is constantly engaged in hearing Krishna Katha. Okay, so that a very important concept runs in the Bhagavatam, but I do not have much time. I can also take some other examples where similar thing has been spoken, but just for sake of time, I wanted to make sure that this point is clear, that all of us had to try to be indifferent, trying to be basically more sober, samatetik chava, come to the stage where we are more tolerant and more kind of fragile to the sukha and dukkha that this material world is going to offer. Okay, not being too excited. Krishna says also that dhira doesn't get too illuminated, and he also doesn't become too sorrowful. So this indifference, we have to continue. Okay, so with that, I'll move to verse number uh, 11. And this verse now very much summarize everything, that we have discussed so far. Nahi dehavrita sakyam tyaktum karmanya se satah yastu karma phalatyagi satyagitya vidhiyate. So nahi deha bhrit sakyam tayuktam karmanya sesataha. A true renunciant or tyagi is he who renounces the result of action, karma phal tyaga. For it, for it is impossible for an embodied being to completely give up all action. Okay, so we understood about types of karma. Then we also heard about the mood, and then we also heard that once you try to perform their tyaga, their duties in mode of goodness, and once we are in the mode of goodness, then we are not seeing, we are not impacted by the dualities of the material world. And then finally this verse says that it's very impossible. Okay, one cannot basically completely renounce the action. Okay, we cannot renounce the action, Rather, we should try to renounce the fruit, the action. Karma phala tyagi. And you have heard, you might have heard this concept a lot. I should have highlighted that. So we are basically talking about karma phala tyaga. Okay, we don't want to basically be the enjoyer of the uh, result that comes out of our karma. But then verse number 12 talks about what happens if one is not doing that thing, if one is not basically uh, following the prescriptions, prescriptions or prescription that's given by Lord Himself here. And we'll see that in verse number 12. Anistamistam mishram cha tirvidha karmanah phalam भवत्यत्यागा त्यागिनां प्रीत्य न तु sannyasinaam क्वचित्. So if one is not renounced and his action is anistam, mistam or mishram, and then we will see what does it mean, then what will be the destination of that type of person who are not following all the instructions that we have heard so far. This is last chapter. Some of these things are basically final essence coming to us. So as much as we can learn these things, the better we are. So ishtam, if somebody has a tendency still to uh, do things which are for some results, then that person basically will be engaging in activity that will lead them to the higher planet system. If some has desire for a specific thing and he's acting for that specific thing, then he will end up going to the heavenly planet system. But if somebody is just doing anistam, just doing havers, just doing things which is not prescribed by shastra, is not recommended by acharyas, just like here and there, athoman tathopan type of thing, that type of person will end up having suffering. They will go to the lower planet, and they will basically suffer. So if one is basically doing the things which are neither completely anistam, not completely undesirable, not abominable action. Undesirable means abominable action. Doing things like acting in this in a very abominable way, if so, or istam, acting in a desirable way, doing the prescribed duty. So if one is basically not doing completely anistam, not doing completely istam, then he is acting in a mixed stage, and he may get the human form, and he will again come based upon whatever desire he has. He will be given the opportunity. Suchinam Srimate Gehe. He will be given the opportunity to start his life again. So one who is renounced has no such result to suffer or enjoy. On the other hand, a person who is following the prescribed, the instruction that we just went through, then he has no results to suffer. He is free from bondage. He will become. So this is kind of philosophy. Whatever we studied so far, this verse number 11 and 12 very nicely gives us the summary of uh, that segment. Okay, so next section, and I know Ashok Prabhu had asked some questions about it. There are 5 factors of action. Any action that we do, there are 5 factors. And before we get into that, is there any comment, any feedback, anything that anybody would like to share that we have gone through up to verse number 12? Any realizations, any comments? So this anistam, mistam, misram cha trividham karmanah phalam bhavat tyagi nam pritya natu sannyasi nam kochit. It's beautiful.
I thought it was a quick summary of the chapter 3 and 4, where it's all the essence which has been given
Yes,
in
got
the
it.
last 12 slokas.
Perfect. Yes, Prabhu. So first six chapter is basically, what is first six chapter? Who will say? What's the subject of the first six chapter?
Karma Yoga.
Yeah, and that's exactly you 100% right. So we are basically very much summarizing the first six chapter. You are right. So all of these three topics, uh, Karma Yoga and Gyan Yoga and Bhakti Yoga will be summarized there. The essence of, yes, Prabhu, 100%. You are right. Thank you. Anybody has anything that you would like to say? Even you think that you know everything, still you should say something. The matter of fact, nobody knows everything. That we should never think that we know everything. It's a very simple thing. I have heard it. I know it. No, it's not the right mood. Every
Hare,
time we hear these things, we are naive, a small baby. So we should always have, some enthusiasm about some of these. If you show enthusiasm, you are receiving it. That's what it is. We
Hare,
just, yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna. You were saying
Hare
something.
Krishna. Yeah, yeah, this is Ram Kishore. So what I like is, in the beginning of chapter 18, Srila Prabhupada says in his purport that really the Bhagavad Gita ends with chapter 17, but chapter 18 is kind of a summary of all that came before. So it's really nice to what Prabhu said just a minute before, that it really pulls out the essence of the previous, the first six chapters, but that's chapter 18 is the essence of the 17 chapters before, I guess, which is really nice, because it just puts it very succinctly. Anyways, that's just what I've noticed.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Yes, yes, please share
Uh,
something.
Prabhu, I have something, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Prabhu, on 12th sloka, you said that the third point, like Mishram, mixed will be human birth.
Uh-huh.
How would one know if someone is in that state, or in first two, Ishtam or Anishtam or Mishram? Uh,
So
I think
desirable,
I need
desire.
little
Yeah, yeah.
clarification.
You wanna give the answer? You are asking the answer. You wanna
Yeah,
try the answer?
I'm asking Prabhu on third. If I am on third one, Mishram, I
Uh-huh.
mean, so what are the qualities that would tell me that I'm in first or second or in third?
Yeah, yeah,
I feel I'm in third, but I don't know. So that's why
yeah.
I wanted to
So
ask.
so Istam is basically prescribed duty. So if one is following the uh, you know uh, prescribed duty as per the instructions of Varnashram system, then uh, such as Grihastha, one has to follow the rules and regulations that's given in the Grihastha ashram, but not necessarily maybe doing the bhakti of Krishna, okay, but is still doing the prescribed duty. Or people, worshipping basically demigods with some, results, with some, maybe they will worship demigods with Shastric Vidhi, right? There are worship methods given for the demigods also, like how to do, certain yagya for Kali or for other, demigods. So that will take them. That's still, uh, personal, because they are thinking that, Lord is person. Maybe they are not worshipping Vishnu or Krishna. They are not necessarily worshipping the Supreme Lord, but they are engaged in higher activity. And anistam is basically undesirable, such as, thieves, or people meat eater, or people, who are basically having, bad desire for others, wives, people who are, disrobing, all of that undesirable activity, by engaging, killing people, torturing people, working, in a slaughterhouse and being part of the killing of all the innocent animals. That's never prescribed in Shastra. So that type of duty will be considered anishtam, and then they will go to the lower planetary system. But mixed is basically in the society, you will see people. There are people who say that I do not believe in God, but I do believe in poor people. So they will be basically doing the charity, and they will help poor people. You know, if they will find out in a temple that there is langar going on where people come and eat. Like there are many temples in South India where even today thousands and thousands of people are coming and eating the food. Somebody with a lot of money may not have faith in Ranganath or Balaji or any form of Krishna or Vishnu, but they will say, "Oh, poor people come here and eat." Okay, give them 1 million, something like that. I'm just giving the number rupees. Let them help. They're feeding the poor people. Okay, so those type of people are getting agat sukriti, so they will retain their human form. There are people also who not necessarily are very very dharmic religious type of people, but they have some morality, by following some moral values, satyam bada dharmam chara, those type of things. They will basically try to have a uh, clean life. So those type of people will come to a human form. Is it clear?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, definitely. Very clear, Prabhu. Thank you. Yeah, I am thinking I would fall maybe into maybe three, Prabhu.
No, you
Probably.
don't. You are basically best now. You are so you are best now. You are trying to be devotee of Krishna. So whatever stage we are in, either we are in a whatever stage we are in, kanistadikari or madhyamadikari or uttmadikari, these all three adhikaris, adhikar, the word is being used adhikara. So you know yes, we might be uh, on the very lower understanding of Krishna consciousness. I might not be even Kanishta, I might be falling very short, but still we are making attempt to please Supreme Personality of Godhead, engage in the bhakti of Krishna. So with that engagement, we are not basically Krishna is saying that Arjuna Pratijanahi Nama Name Bhakti Aparnashati. So we have to believe in the words of our Lord. I might be very incapable person with no competency about anything, you know, but Lord has all the competency. He has all the power, and if He wants to empower me to help the mankind, even with my broken whatever I have, whatever color, face, caste, creed, birth I have, Krishna can empower me. So this discussion comes in Shastra that Krishna sends his pure devotee, you know, Bhavatya Virachiti Nunam. They are this great soul, Bhavatya. They are wandering, walking on this planet for what? To help the conditioned soul, the people who are suffering in the
Mm.
material world. So we all be, we all try to
Yeah.
be messenger of the Lord, and we might be weak, but we should have faith that my dear Lord, by
Mhm.
hook and crooks, by wandering so many lives, life after life, you have kindly given me opportunity now to understand these things. Whenever I read some of these things, like the very previous verse that I read about indifference, when I was reading it, my heart was saying that, oh Lord, I mean, I would have been somewhere in something, not getting exposed to this such a such a beautiful science of Krishna consciousness. That's our misfortune. But now we are in a stage where we have been exposed to hear Krishna Katha and release these beautiful teachings. So we should feel fortunate, enthusiasm, and receive it and try to
Yeah.
basically retain it and try to slowly and slowly mold our life. And that's how we'll elevate. We'll elevate in the Krishna consciousness. You know, uh, don't do a lot of sin. We should try to avoid doing sins, and yeah, some of those things.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to
Thank you.
feel that we are. I'm very low, but at the same time we should also have the full faith in the teachings of
Yeah.
uh, Krishna and teaching of his representative.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So
Basically, I think I lacked the confidence, but I think now whatever you said are some qualities which I do have as a Vaishnava qualities. So I'm thinking I'm proud of it. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
yeah, without having mercy of Krishna, nobody will be exposed to this sublime science. Okay,
Mhm.
Guru Krishna
Yeah.
Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. Highway is here. Okay, but if somebody will go and just touch and then take the exit, come out. Somebody will go and see, oh, there is highway, but still drive, on the state highway or something else. So one who has, gotten the opportunity to get on the highway is very fortunate. But now two things can happen. One thing will happen is that you are on the highway, which means you are driving very fast. But you can drive in the right direction or you can drive in the wrong direction. Okay. So our
Mm.
endeavor should be we all are very fortunate. We have been given the, you know, a blessing to be on the highway of Krishna consciousness. So hold the steering very tight. Take the shelter of Shastra. Understand this Shastra, not for sake of, just, knowing and saying things, but trying to learn it and trying to basically synthesize it, you know, and then trying to hold the steering and drive in the right direction. That's what we are doing this for. Being very much, aware that you have responsibility for yourself and you have responsibility for society. Don't only feel like that, everything is what you are doing is for you yourself only. From the very beginning, we should share our responsibility in two buckets. One bucket, responsibility that I have to protect my soul, to elevate my soul. And with that, responsibility that I have for the mankind, responsibility, a little bit, whatever, desire we have, Krishna slowly and slowly, he will start empowering us. Okay. When we talk, it's not our word depending it comes in Bhagavatam, Krishna says, I can keep on talking, but I would like to stop. It comes in Bhagavatam where it says that the empowerment of talking is coming from Lord. Okay. I might be, using my mouth and all of that, but what to be talk, what to be, it's all comes from Lord. Okay. So the degree of surrender we have, the degree of alignment we have with the that supreme message. The more we are distracted, the more we are disaligned with the instructions of the Lord. Okay. The more we are serious in our bhakti, the more we are aligned. And the alignment comes once we are very aligned with the instructions of Krishna, then your words will come Krishna conscious word. So all of that slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly will happen, will come in our life. All we have to do is that be very, very positive, enthusiastic, and run for the devotee association. And slowly everything will come up. Come. Krishna will give us the opportunity. He's a kind father. He wants us to do more than what we want. So that's how it works. He's wanting us to become a pure devotee. He wants us to become a pure devotee. All we have to do is that. And when we'll talk this one, this the reason I didn't start this 13, 14 verse, because this one brings a very beautiful concept. And I'm still thinking that how I have a basically presentation separate on this, in this next verse, in this verse, no, on those two verses. And I'm still thinking how we should present this thing, So I'm thinking about it. So we'll talk more about those two verses next week. But thank you so much for
Thank,
your association.
thank you,
Anything
Prabhu.
else?
No, Prabhu, that's all. Very clear, Prabhu.